Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to this week's episode of Elevate Your Coaching Business. We are going to look at the 5 things that are stopping you from signing clients. And I promise you probably don't even know them all. Some of these will probably be like, oh yeah, okay, I'm doing that. And other ones you're going to be like, what? I did not even know I was doing this. So these are the most common things that I see when clients come to me and we change them. And this is why they start seeing traction pretty quickly in their business, is because of these little tweaks. So get a pen and a piece of paper, note these down, and make the commitment right now to yourself that you are going to shift these. You're going to commit to changing these so that you can start signing clients right now. So for those of you that don't know me, hi, I'm Joanne O'Halloran. I'm a business mentor specifically for coaches that want to multiply their leads, their clients, and their revenue. I am super passionate about women creating abundance and freedom through entrepreneurship because it's completely within your power to be able to do it, right? You're not relying on somebody else, and it's whatever you create comes from within you. And when you know the steps to take and the strategies to use, business just becomes so much easier. Does that mean it's not going to be work? No, of course it is. All business is work, but the feeling of it is super easy. So let's just dive right in, right? There's five common things that I see consistently with clients that we change. So if you've got your pen and your piece of paper, note these down. And if you sit there and go, oh my goodness, this is me. No, that's okay. You're in perfectly good company because I did them too. Okay. I did them too. So the first one, I'm going to say it's an oldie, but a goodie. So the very first one is not being like crystal clear on who your ideal client is. And you might be rolling your eyes going, oh, Joanne, I've heard this before. Yeah, and for good reason. Because when you're not speaking to your ideal client, when you're like the pieces that you put on social media, the conversations that you have are not speaking directly to your ideal client who's ready to jump into your services, you're missing the mark. So what most people do is they want to speak not to everybody, right? Because that's real beginner stuff. But as in, they're like, well, I know I can help you. Therefore, I'm going to try and convince you that you need this. They're not your ideal client. Your ideal client does not need convincing ever, because they're actively looking for the solution. So when somebody's not actively looking for the solution, you are going to be putting a lot of time and energy into somebody that's like, yeah, I don't really care, right? So you want to focus on your ideal client, and they are the people that are committed to making whatever the transformation is that you provide. So that's number one. So if you are not crystal clear on it, now is the time. And also, if you've been in business for a while, like I have, still know you still get to look at this on a regular basis, because the wants of your ideal client, what's happening in their life, is going to change. Because like if we look at what's going on in the world right now, that's going to impact people in different ways. And it's really important that you continue to reconnect with your ideal client so that you're very clear on where they're at, like what's coming up for them, what they want support with, why now is the time that they want support, because people are going to need it at different stages in different ways. So keep connected to them. So that's number one. Number two is having like tons of offers. Tons of offers. And yes, I'm going to stand out from the crowd here and say something different to what everybody else says, in that you don't need multiple offers. If you're not consistently signing clients, I don't care how many offers you have, there's something in the foundation level that's missing. Right? There's something in the literal foundation level that's missing. To be signing clients, this is why you've got to, number one, be crystal clear on who your ideal client is, and number two, know exactly what it is that you're offering them. So when I say offer, I'm not talking about your program. So most people think, oh my goodness, the program. No, it's what is the transformation that you're providing for them. So what is like your no shit, like stamp of approval, guaranteed, when you do this, you will go from A to Z. You follow this method, you will go from A to Z. Fact. Like fact. You will go from A to Z. That's what you're offering. You're offering the transformation. You're offering the result. Your program is not the offer. The program is not the offer. Like if I think of my buyer type, right? So if you've been in my world for a while, you'll know I talk about buyer types. If you haven't, then there's other episodes that you can go back and have a look at. But when it comes to the buyer type, I don't care about the program. I care about the results I'm going to get. I also care about the experience I'm going to have during it. So that for me is not the volume of calls. It's about how are you going to connect with me? And here's my like high level vision. Like, this is what I want. Can you get me there? I don't care how. I personally don't care how, but are you going to get me there? If the answer is yes, then I'm all in. Now, there's another buyer type, but there's multiple buyer types, but the other buyer types are, they do need to know the how, but you still have to start with the transformation. Your offer is for the transformation. Your offer is for the result. And then you go into the how. But where most people go wrong is they talk about their program. Like, they literally just talk about their program and not talk about the result. So you want to be talking about the result and the transformation. That's like a stamp of approval, guaranteed. If you do this, then you will create this. And before anybody comes screaming at me and saying you can't give guarantees, I'm going to beg to differ, right? Now, you have to obviously be sensible and, be like in complete integrity with what you're saying. So, like, you're not responsible for the results that somebody gets, but you're responsible for providing the steps that do create this transformation, right? So if I look at my program, I cannot, right? So the transformation for you, I cannot promise you clients. I can't promise you that. But what I can promise you is that you will get leads, and I will work my arse off with you to get your sales conversations and get you confident in your sales and get you confident in your money mindset to convert as many clients as possible. But that part is down to you. I will do everything in my power to get you there, like everything. We practice sales calls in our program. We practice them. So as well as like everything else that you get, we literally practice sales calls, because I don't want clients practicing their sales on their potential clients. That's crazy. I want them actually going into sales calls confident in the result that they're going to provide, and confident that they get to focus out on the person that's in front of them instead of making it about themselves. So that's where you go with your stamp of guarantee and your stamp of approval. That's literally where you go. Okay, let's talk about number 3. This one I don't see talked about anywhere, and I have changed it for nearly every single solitary client that has come to me. It's to do with your testimonials, right? When you look at the testimonials that you get, and I want you to stop and think about any testimonials that you've got. I want you to stop and look at the ones that you have like posted about, any of them, and ask yourself, are they about the client and the transformation they got, or are they about you? Most times, I'd say 90% of the time, they're about you. Your service is not about you. Your business is not about you. Your service, your business is about supporting your clients to get whatever the transformation is and the impact that's being created for them. If a testimonial is all about you, the only person that's getting the accolades is you, but how does any prospect client know what it's like to, like, has anyone else actually received the transformation from you? Have they received the results? They might know what it's like to work with you, but that's great. Are they actually able to see the results that they get? And I guarantee you this one's going to be like where people are like, okay, yeah, that's me. And it's totally fine. This is like one of the ones that it's just not taught. Like when you think of a testimonial, because I always go back to like when I was in the corporate world, I'm like, we'd be getting testimonials from, contractors that we'd had and just various different things whenever we're going in to talk about us as a company and us as a team, but they never talked about the results that they got. So like, it's a natural thing to go there, but it will kill your business. You won't sign clients by people talking about you. Well, do people buy you? Yes. So as in you're the person that they feel safe with, but they still want the result. So they have to be able to see that they can get that result. So that's the third one. The fourth one then is your messaging. And this, I think, was going to be like the bane of people's lives for a very long time, because it requires you to do inner work. And it requires you to get super committed to being the stand for the change that you're creating. So let me take my example, right? So for me, because my stand is abundance and freedom for women through entrepreneurship, how I speak, number one, is going to be to my ideal clients. So I speak to my ideal clients as if they're already my clients. So that's how I speak to them. And I always go, okay, what is it that they need to hear to get what they want? So let me say that again. What is it that they need to hear to get what they want? So for me, if I was to, just generally talk about mindset shifts, I would be doing you a disservice, like a huge disservice, because to be successful in business, to create the abundance and freedom that you want, starts with being committed. And commitment means that you can't just try something. You can't have the emotional attachment to whether it works or whether it doesn't work. And that you've got to be willing to look inside of yourself all of the time to go, okay, how was I showing up at that moment in time? Who was I being? What impact did that have on what I was creating? So whatever my goal was, like how did that affect that? And you've got to be super honest about it. So when I'm like creating my messaging, so when I say messaging, just in case somebody's like, I don't know what that means, when I'm writing content for social media, so the posts on social media or my stories, or I'm speaking on here, or if I'm talking on somebody's podcast or somebody's show, or if I'm talking on stage, or if I am writing copy for my emails, the message that comes across, so what you hear, is like very intentional to shift you, to get you to where you want to be. So if I'm holding back and not being brutally honest, so I'm not talking about being mean, I'm not talking about being harsh, and I'm definitely not saying you're wrong for doing this, right? Or bashing somebody else. But I have got to be that stand and share the message that you need to hear so that you can get what you want. Like, and I'll give you an example. So one of the things that really drives me bananas about like the coaching industry, and I'm being totally transparent here, is when people are selling, this is what you need to do to hit your 10 and 20K months. And underneath this is just mindset and there's no strategy. I cannot tell you how much that drives me bananas, because when you're chasing cash, right? I've shared this with clients yesterday. When you're chasing cash, you're in getting energy. And when you're in getting energy, you're trying to take something from somebody, which means that you're going to come across like you have an agenda. You're not going to come across as trustworthy, and you're going to actually repel people. So I hope that makes sense. However, if you're focused on who do I get to support, so like which clients do I get to support? So like they don't even have to exist yet, but who am I supporting? Who am I standing for? Who am I like going to make it like my absolute mission to make sure that you get this result that you want, not that you're just thinking about. So remember, back to your ideal client, that you want. Then I'm giving so that I can receive. They're very different energies. And it's really important to know that. So like it drives me bananas when I see the people chasing cash. This is not a money mindset issue, right? Because you do want to be able to make money. You're in business. But when you're chasing the cash and not chasing your vision of what you want to create, you're not able to do the inner work, because you're always looking for that instant gratification, and that will stop you from signing clients. Always. Let's get on to number 5. Right. So again, these are ones that you may already exist in your life and you're like, okay, I can see where I get to go and I can see what I need to shift. And other ones, you may not be doing. Great. So the 5th one is consistency. And I mean consistency. And if any of my clients are watching, you can actually comment on this below. So consistency is something that feels really uncomfortable. So people, when they think of consistency, are like, well, I'm posting every day on social media. Great. I'm on my stories every day on social media. Brilliant. I am going live every week or a couple of times a week. Brilliant. And what are you being consistent with? So this is one where people are like, what? I'm being consistent with showing up. Yeah, but what? What's the intention? Like to serve people. Okay, great. But what's the intention? So there's always like missing links in it. So consistency is that what I just talked about. And there's an and on there. And it's being consistent with sharing how people can work with you. And it's being consistent with sharing the results that like people are getting with you consistently. And when I say consistently, I'm actually mean every day. Every single solitary day. A client turned around to me yesterday and I was sharing with her to share the screenshot of a result that a client got. Yes, you take their names off, right? We're not, that's not even what we're getting into. You take their names off. But you want to share that. And I was saying to her, you want to be sharing that every day. And she's like, but why would I share the same message every day? Like, sure, people are going to see it. And I'm like, and that's where you're going wrong. You don't know who's seeing that. You don't know who's flicking past it. You don't know whether or not they're actually taking it in. You don't know that they're at that point where they're like, oh, today is the day I'm going to buy. They could be waiting for payday. Like there's lots of things that come up. But if you're not doing it consistently, you're missing out on calling people into your world. And this is an uncomfortable piece, again, when you're doing your inner work, that you've got to be willing to shift past. Because when you think about that and you're like, okay, so if I do that every day, just like what I shared with you, my client shared, is like, well, people are going to be seeing it. What are they going to think? Or if you're saying, I'm open for business, I'm, taking on clients, et cetera, they're going to be like, well, they're going to think I have no clients. It's like, but that's all about you. So what does that mean about you? Why are you judging yourself? Why are you assuming other people are going to judge you? Like, we're here in business, number one, to make an impact on whoever's lives it is that we support. And we're business owners. To be business owners, we have got to be able to sell. We've got to be able to generate income. We've got to be able to invest. We've got to be strategic about where we're bringing our business and where we're going to the next level. We don't get to sit there and look and go, what if somebody judges me? Okay, and if somebody is judging you, they're not your ideal client. Move along and push them to the side. But consistency is more than just like posting on social media, more than just, once a week saying, oh, like if you want to book a call with me, I'm like, I'm here. You've got to be very direct and very consistent with it in order to be able to sign clients. So they are the 5 things that I see stopping people signing clients on a consistent basis. So if you're doing them, pause, take a breath. Don't make yourself wrong for it. Don't beat yourself up about it. Don't go, oh, I should have known this. Never say that about you, because you can't know what you don't know. And even if you have heard this before and you haven't implemented it, still don't make yourself wrong, because everything is showing us where we're at and like where our next level is, because we're always going to be up leveling in terms of our thoughts, in terms of where our emotions are, where our conscious awareness is. All of that is always going to be up level. So never make yourself wrong for it. Just go, okay, this is where I didn't go the last time. Here's where I'm going to go today. So there are my five things for you that you get to shift and change so that you can sign clients consistently. So if you know that this is something that you're like, right, do you know what? I need to get my shit together and I want to be signing clients consistently, book a call with me, because the doors are open to the mastermind. So book a call with me. So in case you're like, well, what is the mastermind? What is in there? It is not hundreds of people, because it's a high level support. So I will build out your strategy with you, right? So you'll have your strategy for the next 6 months. So you're not guessing about where you're going to go, what you're going to be creating. It's going to be a no-brainer built out for you, right? So that's a bonus that you get. We then, throughout the entire time, are working specifically on that strategy and shifting what needs to be shifted so that you are creating that consistency in clients. Plus, we're doing sales calls. So we practice sales calls constantly throughout the month, constantly. So you're going to be trained, plus you're going to be what's the word I'm looking for? Practicing sales calls throughout the month, so that you are getting like really good at converting clients. You're getting really good at calling people in. Like I share with you how to book more discovery calls, how to pull in more leads, how to like revitalize your leads. So you're in such an amazing space if you want to be able to sign clients consistently. So you can book a call with me to have a chat about it, make sure that you're a right fit, it's a right fit. And I will talk to you all soon. Take care. Have a good day.